Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Again, today we will be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 14, Shakeups and Makeups. So, right off the bat, I love this episode. It had one of my favorite scenes I think I've seen in this series of Potomac, but we're going to get to that at the end. So this episode started out with Karen and Charisse kind of concluding that argument that started in the last episode. I think that, Karen is justified in feeling how she feels about her grief and her mother's funeral and, feeling as if Charisse only showed up because she was trying to use it against her. Because again, how people feel about things is their, prerogative. If Charisse meant to be genuine, I do understand what Karen was talking about a little bit. Like, if you came to this out of the genuine goodness of your heart, despite us not being cool because you were concerned, right? Why do you keep mentioning it, right? Because I didn't realize, that she had mentioned this before to Karen, almost as a way of like, oh, I came. Why aren't we cool? Why don't you like me? I did this big thing for you. I was the only one that showed up. But also to Charisse's point, when she lost a family member, for Karen to just send a text, that's wrong. I agree with her. That is wrong. I think that Karen should have offered her a little bit more sympathy besides a text that says, sorry for your loss. I just don't think it's enough. I think she deserved more than that. Someone came to your parents' funeral, they deserve a phone call at minimum. So yeah, that to me seemed like, I understand Karen, but surprisingly, I also understood Charisse. And let me tell you, I don't want to understand her often, but I do get that point. The next morning, they woke up. Ashley wanted to do some type of yoga. I love that Ashley is really exploratory. She likes to do new things. She likes to be adventurous. I love that about her because it shows that she's not above certain things. Whereas I feel like a lot of these women feel like they're above certain things and behaving certain ways and not like, and enjoying really. Like if the enjoyment goes past dressing up, drinking champagne and doing dinner, then it's too much. And I don't like that sometimes. I wish that they would just go and be fun and do random things. Like, I'm not a yoga person. I would not want to do yoga. But the cenote looked fun. They was all like, oh, I'm just going to put a foot in the water. It is literally the most refreshing water ever. Like, I've done cenotes. You worried about the mosquitoes? Get in the water. The mosquitoes are not going to bite you in the water. They will bite you outside, but they're not going to bite you in the water. Get in the water, enjoy that refreshing feeling, and you will have a good time. Also, I enjoyed the fact that Jacqueline and Mia, they are still beefing, but I like the fact that Mia was like, well, I don't want to talk about it in front of all these people. Like, I know you too well. Like, I know you, girl. Like, I didn't just meet you through this show. I know you. So it doesn't make sense for me, whatever beef we have, to be discussed in front of this entire group, which just goes to show that Jacqueline is actually quite mature. I'm not saying that she has no fault in whatever beef that her and Mia share, but I do think that she is a way more mature person than Mia, and she actually cares about her friends, where it seems like Mia cares a little bit more about fame and money. And it's funny, we'll talk about it at the end, but Mia and Wendy get back into it again. And Mia's like, oh, money isn't everything. Like, you think we all want to be like you or be better than you. But literally, when Mia showed up the first time, she couldn't help but tell everybody how much she made every time she opened her mouth. And it was like, girl, don't nobody care. So I just find it funny that now she's using that against Wendy, but we'll get to that little argument. So when after the cenote, they had like a dinner or a lunch or, and that's where the most classy read comes in. But I will talk about that at the end because I kind of want to show the clip and get into it. But we also have their little dinner. They say like a traditional Mexican dinner that they did. And at that point, Giselle and Robin take it amongst themselves to start rehashing Karen's behavior, talking about it was the opposite of what Karen portrays herself as and how it was tacky and this and that. And I'm just like, y'all literally watched Mia go off on Wendy, and so much so that she physically hit her with her purse and tried to hit her, and y'all didn't think anything about that. But Karen stands up and gets angry and slams the table. Actually, she slammed the table in reaction to Charisse. Charisse slammed the table first. Then Karen slammed the table just to let her know, like, girl, if you want to shake the table, we can shake the table. But it was in response, in reaction to Charisse's initial action of shaking the table or slamming the table. And I don't think Karen did anything that was really out of character. You piss me off, I'm gonna get angry and I'm gonna yell at you. And maybe she shouldn't have yelled, but the point is, girl, you're not listening. I don't want to be your friend. Now you're trying to tell me I should be your friend because I showed up to your mama's funeral. Like, girl, I need you to relax. Like, that is not a reason why. I don't want to be your friend. I don't have to have a reason, really. If I don't want to be a friend, I don't have to be a friend. And she was very nice. She's always cordial to her. She lets her come around. She'll say hello, but I don't have to go any further than that. I don't have to text you when you're not around. I don't have to call you, any other time. But if you're in my presence, I'll say hi. I'll give you a hug and make sure we're good. Karen and Robin were like, you're fake because you were telling her y'all were good. Girl, we are good. We just not friends. We good. We good. We're good. I don't have no beef with you. I don't want to fight with you. I just don't like you. So are we good? Yes, we're good. I just don't want to talk to you no more. I think it's so simple. And somehow Robin and Giselle were trying to make it more than what it is. And I think someone mentioned to me, my friend mentioned to me, that Giselle and Ashley are characters that don't really have a story because they're able to push other people's drama forward. And it's so true. Giselle really just sits there to stir up other people's mess. Like, girl, what about your husband that's had like 10 kids from 10 congregants? What about all these men that you was talking to that it never panned out? Like, you don't have a story. You don't have nothing. So because you have nothing, absolutely zero, you have to have your hand in everybody else's business. And it's really quite tacky. But you know what? I don't hate it because I know I watch the show for the drama. And without Giselle and Ashley, putting little dubs on everybody's little stuff, we don't have that drama. You know what I mean? And then here comes Robin trying to be like the third one to do that. And it's like, Robin, you're not the one. You should probably shut up because you really ain't the person to be talking. Not with what your husband going through now, not with the fact that you have this little fake wedding. She's like, oh, I don't really want a wedding. That's not really what I want. Girl, you don't want a wedding or your man don't want a wedding? Because that's different. Very, very different. I just don't think that they are two people that should be married. I think that they're good friends. I think that they love each other because of the history they shared. But I think those are two people, Robin and Juan are two people that just don't want to be married to each other. They don't want to have that commitment. So you know what? However they want to live is how they want to live. But for her to pretend like they're going to be getting married, girl, y'all not getting married. That is not going to happen. And again, I said it last episode, the episode before, I'm going to say it today, I'm going to say it the next episode. Y'all not getting married. It's okay. Just say that. We're not getting married. That engagement was a farce. We did it for the cameras. Say that so we can move on. And ain't nobody got to bring up you and Juan getting married ever again. But I like how when she talked about getting married and saying she doesn't want a marriage or a wedding or whatever, Giselle even looked down. The camera panned to her. Again, I know they cut stuff some ways, but Giselle just looked like, let me just sit here and eat my food because I don't want to be that person. Because she even knows it's bull. So then they were talking about Karen apologizing to Charisse, or not apologizing to Charisse. She actually apologized to the group for her behavior, but she didn't apologize to Charisse. And Robin immediately called her out. And Candace immediately called Robin out. Like, wait a minute. Because when Mia apologized to the group and didn't apologize to Wendy, you, Giselle, and everybody else here thought that was perfectly fine. But now that Karen does it, she's a hypocrite. She's a problem. She's this. Honestly, all of these women are hypocrites. If it's somebody they don't like or don't get along with, they're ready to go off. If it's somebody that they do like and get along with, then they're ready to agree. That's just what it is. I think Candace is possibly the most consistent. Even though I did not like her behavior early on, she's possibly the most consistent. And so I do F with her for that. But, you know, it's just crazy to me that they behave this way. That's why sometimes I'm like, Robin, just shut up. Shut up. Also, you know, I'm excited to hear about Karen sneaking away her little man. They talking about Sharice ruining families. Oh, I even forgot to mention they said that Karen was in rehab and had to get snuck out. But honestly, I think that's like a weird thing to bring up because maybe, okay, I understand Karen probably feels shame from going to rehab, but I don't think getting help is something you should feel ashamed of. You know, maybe Karen doesn't want to admit to the public that she has a problem. So Sharice was real raggedy for saying that out loud. But getting help for a problem that you have, whether it's alcohol, and honestly, I kind of do think that's true because they went on vacation, I think, in a season, and like Karen was like, oh, I'm not drinking, which makes me believe that maybe she was in rehab for alcohol and or something, and she was just trying to stay away from it all. So I do believe that there was something there. But either way, Candace read Mia and Robin and all them for not wanting to apologize to Wendy. Mia was like, well, I wasn't sorry. Okay, girl. But you were wrong. You may not be sorry, but you were dead wrong, okay? And I'm so glad that Wendy doesn't let her just say whatever she wants and she lets her know, girl, you about that bull, Skip, because they need to shut her down. Mia, I like her. I told you guys that before, but she's not smart. And Wendy, don't ever let somebody who not even up to your level, like, talk to you crazy. You gotta nip that in the bud. And I'm glad that she does that every time. And Mia got up in a huff and wanted to leave. And I think Mia got up in a huff and wanted to leave because she knew she had nobody to defend her. I'm not saying that Giselle and Robin wouldn't defend her, but she knows her and Jacqueline are fighting. And Jacqueline was not going to defend her because that's who she really, you know, would felt good to, you know, have her back when she was woofing, because it's like, this girl knows me and I know she'll fight for me. So I feel confident fighting. But she knows Giselle and Robin aren't going to fight for her. They might act like they're on her side. They might do that, but they're not going to really have her back. So when Wendy got to talking a little crazy, Mia knew, let me just go ahead and get up, because I don't have nobody on my side like that that's going to defend me. Now, let's get to Candace's read. What the perfect example of a professional read that hits so deep because it is 100% accurate. Let's take a look real quick. Okay, y'all saw that? Did you see how she said that? Ashley couldn't even open her mouth to form a word because she knew it was true. And it's funny because she gave that read to Ashley, but I'm glad she said it at the table because that read also applies to Giselle. That is why Giselle was so uncomfortable with Chris, who was a well-intentioned, well-meaning gentleman. Maybe he wanted to complain about his wife. Maybe he wanted to complain about his wife's mother. But he did not have any malice, no sneaky intent, no bad, anything. He was coming to have a conversation with a woman he thought he had built a relationship, a conversation, and talk to her and get advice from someone he thought was a friend. And Giselle didn't take it that way because Giselle, much like Ashley, has only known toxic relationships. She has trauma. And because you have trauma, you look at situations in the worst possible light. and you think that somebody's man is always going to try to get at you. And don't get me wrong, Giselle is a beautiful woman. I say this a lot. I think she's so pretty. So that's probably why she's even probably seen friends be like, oh, you know, yeah, you my wife's friend, but I'm flirt with you or try to get with you. So she is using that past trauma, that past toxicity to come into that situation at Chris. And that is the same for Ashley. And that read was so just chef's kiss, so perfect, because it wasn't just a read. It was like, girl, I want better for you. And let me tell you, the best way to read somebody is with kindness, because when you do that, there's really no rebuttal. Ashley did try to say like, oh, well, you talked about my miscarriage and all that. And it's true, Candace did. But Candace apologized for that multiple times. But they keep going back and forth because they end up not getting along at some point. But she did apologize, and she was genuine in her apology of that situation. I just hope that from here forward, Candace and Ashley can get along. For some reason, I don't feel like it'll happen, but we have hope because that was just so perfect. Next episode seems crazy. Robin is showing the guy that Karen supposedly is leaving town with. I think one of the funniest things about it is like, people on the show always like to talk about other people, but it's like, you don't talk about other people if your situation isn't just clean. So I think it's really risky for Robin to bring this up, knowing that supposedly he got a little girlfriend. Her man got a little girlfriend. Like, I think that's just risky. So we will see. I'm excited, and I hope you guys tune in next week. Please like and subscribe and share my videos. If there's other shows you guys want me to talk about, please let me know. I will include them or try to watch them. But yeah, see you guys next time.